there?
Yeah, great. Well, I was the youngest of 7 kids in a Mormon family in LA in the late 60s. And my older siblings, the older 3 were what we would call the classic California hippies in the middle of the flower child age. I remember being 4 years old and my mom worked an extensive amount of time, like a lot, and my dad was kind of chronically unemployed. I was very psychic, but I remember seeing people with that were like walking around, but their feet weren't on the ground. And then there was this other dynamic of domination that came from him that was very subtle and very sneaky, if you will. But it took me years to name it. And now I would call it covert narcissism. It was this thing where he constantly like had to be on top of me and controlling me and not allowing me access to things like finances and information and his inner world. We can change. There's so much we can change in the brain. There's so much trauma that can be healed,
Yeah.
most of it.
And I think of it too from like a spiritual standpoint because
Yeah.
I believe in God and I don't think God would ever just throw us down here and be like, you're on your own.
And I think that led to the divorce because I was like, listen, within it was December, and I think within 1 month, 4 of those things had happened all over again. And I was like, it's never going to change. This is crystal clear. I can really leave now.
Yeah.
And the consequences of leaving were going to be really high, really, really high financially and socially. And yeah, it was not going to be an easy thing.
Yeah.
And one day I heard this phrase really, really clearly. And this is as I was moving through separation from my spouse and a move and contemplating leaving the LDS faith. I heard very clearly, if you continue to see clients at the rate you are, and I had to actually reduce it quite a bit, you are going to have a stroke.
Mm.
And I knew from my previous life experience when I hear things in my head clairaudiently that if I don't listen, I'm going to get smacked hard. So I was like, I better listen. I did find a provider from Colorado and did a journey, my first journey. And the doors of life have been blown wide open ever since. Like that
Mm.
journey was so revelatory to me. And the integration of it was so huge. Basically, I saw my whole life plan laid out. And I saw visions of so many things. And it was just unbelievable stuff. And the integration of that was the biggest part of like allowing myself to believe that these things could happen and be possible and true. So the first one came, there were 7 years between I think ages 30 and probably 36. No, it was probably 34, 33. No, it was about 34, 35 because I remember it ended with an accident that I had. But I was in 7 years of questioning whether I should leave my marriage the first time. And I'm so used to getting answers from my spiritual source, and I was getting no answer on that. That was like a dark night of the soul where I was like, God, I'm so pissed at you. Like, I am just so angry that you're not answering this question. And I've been so patient and I'm getting nothing. And I will never not believe in you, but like, I don't think I need to keep these commandments anymore. The most powerful force for change is love.
Mm.
And if you're taught clinically in the traditional schools of therapy, you're not taught love. And so the more you learn love, the more you learn compassion, and especially your own self compassion as a therapist, the more that you can actually energetically convey that to your clients. Because it's all a game to me now. Like I look at life like we're in this game. It's a video game that I chose to play, and it's a hell of a hard one. Like, because I'm a high level player. The worse your trauma is,
Competition.
the more
I'm not
shit
gonna
in your
lose.
life, the more that you're a high level player. That's my opinion. And I was like, oh my gosh, look how I set things up for myself. Because I was really trying to reinforce the idea of like, you're going to live in chaos and trauma your whole life, and people are going to abandon you over and over and over again, and you're not going to
Mhm.
find support. And so when you're doing trauma therapy that's gentle and soft, it feels like this isn't helping. have energy move and flow through you rather than being contracted and get stuck and then big release. Like what helps us have longevity in life is the ability to have this flexible flow of energy, which is a flexible flow of how we heal from trauma. It's this dance of moving energy that helps our body have resilience.